Toronto FC have shipped Kosi Thompson off to the Colorado Rapids in exchange for $200,000 up front in general allocation money and up to $200,000 of general allocation money in the form of bonuses. Kosi Thompson has really been a victim of some poor TFC teams in the past few years. Came up through the academy and broke into the first team as a 19-year-old in 2022. Thompson has been a regular for Toronto FC for the past 4 seasons, racking up 113 appearances in all competitions. A guy who started off as a central midfielder, Thompson, after a couple of years, had been shifted to right back for the majority of the 2024 season, and in 2025 ended up playing center back for a decent chunk of it, as Toronto FC was really left without any good options in the center back position. And with Thompson, this is a guy who had some potential, never really fully realized it at Toronto FC, and then got kind of bounced around positionally as Toronto FC were filling holes in their lineup. Now, a couple things that tells you is Thompson, if he was an elite bona fide central midfielder, would not have been moved out of the center mid role. We tried to find him a spot at right back and center back. Obviously a guy who has talent that they were willing to try at different positions, but overall a guy who never consistently really fit in the lineup anywhere for Toronto FC. And now we reach the 2026 season where Toronto FC has overhauled much of the roster and built a team that looks to be a contending team, and there isn't really a spot for Kosi Thompson on this team as he is on an expiring contract year. And so this screams a move of you're getting rid of a guy who you were planning on letting walk as a free agent at the end of the season anyways for what you can get for him at the beginning of this season, which is up to $400,000 in general allocation money. Now, if it is true that Toronto FC were planning on letting Kosi Thompson walk and weren't really going to play him much this season as he doesn't really fit into the current lineup as things stand right now. Great piece of work from Jason Hernandez. And honestly, Hernandez has done a lot of good moves this offseason, so I have very strong reason to believe that is exactly what has occurred here. Now, some people were really big on Kosi Thompson, liked him as a youngster coming up at 23 years old. Honestly, for me, I've never been fully convinced on Kosi Thompson. I think early on he showed flashes at 19, 20 years old of potentially being a competent midfielder in Major League Soccer. I was never too convinced of him as either a right back or a center back. And honestly, I just don't think he's at the level where he's a starting player on a contending team in Major League Soccer. So for me, not a huge loss to get rid of him and get some money in for him now before we let him walk as a free agent in the winter. Now, of course, there have been a lot of players that Toronto FC have let walk who have ended up going on to have very solid MLS careers, but there have also been a lot of players who have let walk who did not. So time will tell which one this is for Kosi Thompson, if he was another youth talent who came up through the academy at the wrong time and just never really had a solid shot on a good TFC team, or if he truly is the guy who just isn't at that level and will fall out of MLS remains to be seen. However, getting a shot with another MLS team is only good for him. I think that Thompson is a guy who definitely has potential to forge out a solid Major League Soccer career, but right now with his Toronto FC history, Toronto FC is not the team, nor is it the time for him to break through again on this roster. So best of luck to Thompson to Colorado. I will gladly take the $400K in allocation money for him, and honestly I think that's a good piece of business by Jason Hernandez. So that's it for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.